look, I think if you turn on CNN and just watch CNN for like an hour, it's, I can't overstate enough how much you're like, oh, you guys are just trashing Trump for an hour. Like, you're just doing anything you can to undermine him, make him look bad, report this negative thing, report this. And it's just kind of, look, it's very shocking to me, or not shocking, I don't know, but it's a very like bold contrast between how Obama was treated by the media versus how Trump is, for how little tangibly actual action is different. Like, whatever you'll say about Trump, I mean, he's talked about ramping up deportations, but Obama did ramp up deportations. Like, Obama did drop bombs on all these countries. We did. It's just very, very interesting that they're always convinced the latest tweet or the latest thing, and the latest Spicer clip would become one of those things. Now, whether or not you're absolutely right that the Spicer things did just become clips all day that the media would play, but it doesn't seem like Trump seems to be enjoying that. You know, Trump seems to be tweeting things that he knows the media will fixate on all day, and I don't know. Then there's this kind of like the conventional wisdom right now, and they're like, everyone like Trump should be focusing on jobs and the economy and immigration, like the issues that got him elected. But I don't know. I mean, from my perspective, he's not doing anything on any of those issues. So what's he gonna focus on? Hey, I said I'd bring your jobs back. Well, turns out I can't. So I don't know. I think he's okay with this, and he's making the media look very bad. So I don't know. I don't know how it all shakes out. But I do find it pretty interesting that anyone who's so, upset by Sean Spicer, that maybe they would want to consider a little bit of information that I found very, very meaningful from Obama's first press secretary. And I've played this clip on the show before. I apologize to those people who have been listening forever, because you've heard this before. But I thought this was interesting to play again on the show now that in light of the Sean Spicer situation. And just to contrast, because people are talking about how bad a job Sean Spicer did or what they got him in. And just to say, the media, when I say they had more of a magnifying glass on this guy, when Obama was in office, his first press secretary was Robert Gibbs. And Robert Gibbs let this fly on Chris Hayes' program, okay? Chris Hayes is supposed to be one of these true progressive. He's like a Rachel Maddowite over at MSNBC. He's supposed to be one of these progressive journalists. This was what came out. Now, this is referring to the drone program, the drone bombing campaign that Obama really kind of is infamous or famous for, but that, I believe, started under Bush, but really got its legs under Obama. No, I guess they don't have legs, but really got its wings under Obama. And this was is Robert Gibbs talking about the drone program at White House press secretary briefings and being asked about them. So let's play this clip from Chris Hayes' old show.
I certainly think there are aspects of that.
Hold on, let me just pause real quick. Sorry, but so, and during this also, I want you to just for a second pay attention to what is being said here. Like, really pay attention to what Robert Gibbs is saying, and also, if you could please just try to pay attention to the reaction of the so-called journalists who are listening to this.
I think there are aspects of that program that are and will remain highly sensitive and very secret. But let me give you an example here, Chris. When I went through the process of becoming press secretary, one of the first things they told me was, you're not even to acknowledge the drone program. You're not even to discuss that it exists. Wow. And so I would get a question like that, and literally I couldn't tell you what major asked, because once I figured out it was about the drone program, I realized I'm not supposed to talk about it. But here's what's inherently crazy about that proposition. You're being asked a question based on reporting of a program that exists.
Right.
So you're the official government spokesperson acting as if the entire program, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Right, yeah.
I think in many ways, and I think what the president has seen, and I have not talked to him about this, I want to be careful. This is my opinion. But I think what the president has seen is our denial of the existence of the program, when it's obviously happening, undermines people's confidence overall in the decisions that their government makes.
All right, so just to be clear, I mean, what we're talking about here, right, when we say the drone program, is that Obama was bombing, you know, about 5 or 6 different third world countries and lying to the American people about this. I mean, forget, like, you know, throw the Constitution out the window, throw the War Powers Act out the window, throw international law out the window, throw any sense of morality or human decency, that Obama is out there. So, like, we're bombing the crap out of Yemen. We're asking you about, he's telling you, I'm under specific instructions to lie about this, to make sure you don't know this. The way we find out about this, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but the way we find out that we're bombing Yemen is that some brave reporters in Yemen, many of whom went on to be tortured by our puppet government over there, they got like grainy cell phone videos of pieces of drones after the bombings had happened. And this basically is how we conclusively proved that the drone campaign was happening and that we were bombing these areas. So you have basically the media is told that we're bombing the shit out of these countries. We're lying to you about it, and this was my job. This is officially my job, and they all just kind of chuckled and laughed, and this didn't become a huge story. This wasn't something that was like stop the presses. There was never nearly, you know, this could have been a soundbite, right? Like that's for as many Sean Spicer sound bites as you want. That's a pretty big one right there. Now, I'm just saying, for all the anger that's generated against Sean Spicer, what has he been caught in like that? I've heard so much of like today, they're all like, which is what they love to do, is just all get together and fake laugh with each other. That's what cable news, liberal cable news, loves to just all be, oh, he went out there and he defended the president's claim that 3 million illegals voted. Like, okay, I guess that doesn't look very good. Could you even put that on the level of this? This is like, I mean, the drone war changed the nature of how we fight wars, of what we consider acceptable. And, of course, you know, if you wanted to start moralizing, like as everyone seems to be morally judging Trump, if you wanted to start morally judging, it's you know, the drone war does, you know, Obama was the subject that they're talking about here, that he's like lying about, or at least I have to avoid questions. However he said it. I mean, he didn't say he's lying, right, Rob? But he said, I'm being asked something that is the truth, and I'm doing don't look behind the man in the curtain. It's as close to saying I'm fucking bullshitting you people as you could get. Well, the subject that he's bullshitting about is murdering children. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. The subject is murdering children. Like, that's what the last president's press secretary gave you. So if you had nothing to say about that, just save your fucking sanctimonious shit about how terrible Sean Spicer was. And this is the big problem with what the tone of the media, because even when people will, like, your average person, they'll just be like, yeah, well, that Sean Spicer guy was lying, right? So maybe the media is not so wrong to be outraged by him. But the underlying thing with this whole Trump movement, and Tom Woods put his finger on this perfectly, is that if you're particularly outraged by Donald Trump, it's almost like the game they're trying to get you to say is like, no one's ever done this before, you know? Like, you're almost giving a pass to what came before it, and you're saying this is particularly, and it's not. It's just not. There's nothing particularly terrible about anything Sean Spicer's been caught in.